Good morning, dear boys and girls. Welcome once again to our next week's video classes for English. Now today, let's see the thought for the day. The thought for the day is time is free but it is priceless. Many of us take time for granted. I can do it later. There's lots of time for me to learn. There's lots of time for me to grow up. See, time passes. It is said it is free. So, human as we are, anything we get free, we waste it. Okay? If water is free, we wasted water. Now today, the world is facing great water crisis. Drinking water crisis. All of us learned in the previous units, water available to the earth is just 2% drinkable water. 2 or 3% available to the whole world. And we find such huge oceans and seas. But they are no good to us because they are salty. They are no good for agriculture because they are salty. So what is the use of having such huge water everywhere, but not a drop to drink, it's told. That means we have plenty of water, but only 2 to 3% is available for drinking. Same thing, time. Time is plentiful. We are living in a day 24 hours, 365 days, 24 into 365, plus our life, suppose we are going to live as 50 or 60 years, multiply by 50, 60 years, such a lot of time we have, but many of us don't make use of it. We waste our time, we lose the time that we have, and we regret or feel sad, I did not do it so and so at such a time, because we never knew its value. It is priceless. Time is priceless. Live a day as though you are going to die tomorrow. Live today as you are going to die tomorrow. Suppose I am going to die tomorrow, today I am going to do lots of things. So we should live day by day, valuing the time that we have with us. Because once time is passed, you cannot get it back. Okay, once it is used, it is lost. So see that whatever time is available to us, we make a good use of it. And we learn to value the time that we have got, not waste it. Now with this thought, let us go to the last parts of our unit 6. Now we are coming to the B reading, the poem. B reading is a poem. Now in the poem, what we are going to see the poem? My Nasty Adventure. Now after we recite the poem, then we shall discuss the poem. What is this nasty? Nasty is something unpleasant. Nasty is something unpleasant. Now I will recite the poem. After that we shall do the comprehension of the poem. Page number 97. My plane was just about to crash. So I grabbed my bag and took out my big blue parachute to glide me down and land. At last I found a spot to land, but there was a big breeze. And so I had to painfully land on these sharp pine trees. I was then filled with bruises as a pine fell on my ear. I sat down on the ground to rest. A thorn then poked me. I slept on the ground frantically. Mosquitoes bit my nose. Bugs crept all over me and tickled my body. I scratched myself when I woke up, appearing like a fool. And after the whole thing, I thought I'd rather go to school. I recite once again. My nasty adventure. My plane was about to crash. So I grabbed my bag and took out my big blue parachute to glide me down and land. At last I found a spot to land, but there was a big breeze. And so I had to painfully land on these sharp pine trees. I was then filled with bruises as a pine fell on my ear. I sat down on the ground to rest. A thorn then poked me. I slept on the ground frantically. Mosquitoes bit my nose. Bugs crept all over me and tickled my body. I scratched myself when I woke up, appearing like a fool. And after the whole thing, I thought I'd rather go to school. Now here you find the poem. Now who do you think is reciting this poem? Yes? I'd rather go to school. The last line in the poem tells, I'd rather go to school means it must be a school child. Now what is the school child describing? Is it describing the thing that really happened to the child? Or was it just a dream? Because the next previous two lines it talks about, what does it tell? It says, I scratched myself when I woke up. I scratched myself. When you get up, some of us scratch our hair, we scratch our body. Yes? That is our immediate action when we get up. Or we scratch our ears, or we massage our eyes. That is what is the normal action when we get up. So the child gets up. That means what happened? So what all took place? It was a dream. So the child had a dream and it woke up, it thought it was in its bed. And therefore, it felt like a fool for thinking of all that had happened, the nasty adventure that it had. Adventure is a journey. Okay. And so the child had a unpleasant journey in its sleep. Now what did the child dream? The first unpleasant, it saw all something not going on correctly, something going on wrong. What was the first thing the child dreamt in the sleep? It said, my plane was just about to crash. That means the plane was going to land soon so that it will escape the crash. So what did the child do? Grabbed my bag and took out my big blue parachute. You can see in the picture the parachute. Yes? Paragliders use it. Sometimes you can see this acrobatics, people who do this aerobatics, they use these parachutes. Yes, parachute helps you to land. It guides you. They have the switches in which they can guide the parachute to land in a safe place. So the child says, when it got to know that the plane was going to crash, took out the parachute, wore the parachute, and then what? Took the big blue parachute to glide me down and land safely. He wanted to land safely. Then what happened? At last I found a spot to land, but there was a big breeze. Now what the child did? Guided the parachute to land on a safe place. Instead the wind blew, there was a big breeze, wind. And so instead of landing in that place, the parachute landed on what? It landed on sharp pine trees. Pine trees are thorny leaves. It has thorny leaves. So the parachute went and landed on the piney trees, and so the parachute tore. Once it tears, it is useless. And then what the child says, a pine fell on my ear. That means the pine pricked the ear. The sharp thorny like leaves. I sat on the ground. So he came down from the pine tree. And when he sat down on the ground, what happened? A thorn then poked me. Now what's the thorn? When the leaves dry, it looks like a thorn. Mullu. And so when he sat down, it poked him. And then I slept on the ground frantically, said that the boy child says. Then after that I was so exhausted. Under the same tree I slept. But did I go to sleep well? Again there was trouble. What was the trouble? My mosquitoes bit my nose. Mosquitoes started biting his nose. Then bugs crept, small insects, bugs crawled over his body and tickled him. So he was restless all time, wriggling and wriggling under the ground. Then suddenly what did I do? I scratched myself when I woke up. So the bugs were crawling, so he was itching his body. And when he woke up, opened his eyes, he felt like a fool because he was on his bed. And it was daytime. So he thought, instead of having such dreams, it's better to wake up, get ready and go to school. So children have different kinds of imaginations. Maybe the child was watching some movie, or it had read some story in which all these disasters take place. And therefore the child imagines in the sleep and then finds himself that he was safe in the cozy bed of in his house. Okay, so the child tells about the nasty adventure it had in its dream. Now in the glossary in the next page we have some meanings of the words. The crash. Crashes fall or come down violently. That means without any, control. Without control, something falling down with great speed. Bruises. What are bruises? Dark marks left on the skin when one has been hit. Suppose you fall down in the ground while you are playing. You don't get deep wounds. The skin moves, goes off, and you can find some small stains of blood on that skin. They are called bruises, small bruises. Not very big wounds. Breeze, a gentle breeze. Then poke. Yes, poking is, you do that many a times in the class with a pen or the pencil, you keep poking your neighbors. Push a pointed object into something or someone. Frantically, very anxiously. Yes, searching. Suppose I lose. You have brought money to the school to pay your fees, and suddenly the money is missing from your bag. What do? You become all anxious and you search everywhere, open every book, ask the teacher, ask your friends. Frantically, that is anxiety, great anxiety. Bugs, small insects. Then, tickled, when something climbs over your body, then we call it as tickling. It makes us to wriggle. Okay, touched lightly in a sensitive part of the body, causing laughter. Then scratch. Scratch is to cut or damage the surface with something sharp or rough. Okay, so that itching, when something ants and all bite you, go on itching it. Scratching, sometimes it becomes red, then sometimes the skin also comes up. Okay, that is called a scratch. Now I will be sending you some questions for comprehension. So see that you write answers to these questions in 1 or 2 sentences. Please don't write 2 big answers. Many of you write answers but they are senseless. Or some of you are just copying the stanzas or paragraphs from whatever is given. Please don't do such thing. Understand the question and write the answer to the point. Don't elaborate it, don't expand it, don't describe it. Not asked. Okay, so answer to the question. Comprehension is answer to the question. And then find out some rhyming words. If you have had any such adventure, tell to your friends. I don't want you writing in the book because it may be very lengthy. If you had any such adventure, you had been to your village, you saw something happen, or you and your friends had discovered something and you went searching for it or investigating it. Okay, some things, children as such, they have a lot of such investigations to be done. Yes, so if you have any such incident, funny incident or something very frightful that you still remember those things that happened to you in your life, you can narrate it or tell it to your friends. Have a good day. God bless you.